यं भागवतसेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्ये नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण। Like to recollect last week that
should I try, Prabhuji?
yes, ma'am.
So, yourself discussed about the 37th anuccheda, that how Krishna is the ultimate cause. He's the source of all guna avatars. Three guna avatars, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, uh, Shiva, they are manifestations of Krishna. Krishna is asked, actually Brahma, actually Shrishti is, asks Brahma, actually Shrishti is performed by Brahma, maintenance performed by Vishnu, annihilation performed by Shiva. There are many avatars who appear during this maintenance period. Then how can you say that I am the cause of everything? And Brahma says about you are the Atma, that means you are the supreme Lord Self. And Bhasi, it's actually Madhyam Purusha of the verb, so it is you. So Tvam Bhasi. For those people who are unaware of their true position, or people not aware of the path of devotion, you yourself expands your Maya and appear at Anatmani, within the inert matter. You appear in this world as Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. So Brahma says, you appear as me for the purpose of creation, and he uses, for the Vishnu, he uses this word Yeshaha, for purpose of Palan. You come as Vishnu. And Anta Eva Trinetraha, you appear as Shiva to bring about end of the universe. So as Eva Shabda should be combined with the pronoun Yesha Shabda and not Tvam. You are the original supreme self. So this Yesha is Vishnu. Pronoun Tvam, you refer to Krishna's personal form, because he is directly supreme Lord and not to the avatar presiding over the gunas of the material nature. So if we say Tvam is referred to Vishnu, then it will contradict the verse, the previous verse which Brahma ji says, about that how Krishna appears as different cowherd boys and calves transformed into Vishnu forms, Narayan forms. So then there is this word called Padvi, which is actually called Swarup of Krishna. Those people who are unaware of your true position, Ansha, and you explain the word Amshi, Avatar, and Avatari. So you are the Amshi Purusha Padvi. You are the original complete form of the Lord, who is the source of all partial manifestations. By your different Ansha expansions, you actually expand Maya for the purpose of creation, maintenance, and annihilation. And you only set in motion according to the purpose of this three creation, maintenance, and destruction. Actually, in truth, you are the manifest as these three forms exist in you, but Muda see these guna avatars different from you only. You yourself mentioned about 2.6. Brahma says, I create being engaged by him. um, and then you spoke about how these three shakti drit, three types of energy as in lord itself. And then how brahma is actually the jiva tattva, vishnu is actually is comes into the vishnu tattva, and shiva is the marginal position between jiva tattva and vishnu tattva. And then you spoke about this Advaya Brahman. Those who are ignorant cannot see how Lord exists everywhere and in everything. When someone does not recognize Krishna's energy, then that is how Krishna is an all pervasive, pervading, he's all pervading through his Maya potency, then they will have independent ego, they'll desire for enjoyment, and they'll be bound by gunas of nature. So they do not know that he is the cause of everything. So when we see Maya independent of Krishna, then we see everything, anything which is independent of Krishna, then there's a tendency to enjoy. So then Brahma says that apart from all these guna avatars, there are other avatars like Leela avatars. And these Leela avatars also are manifestations of Krishna. 10.14.20, yourself spoke about Vidhata, controller of destiny. Although you are unborn, but you take birth among the Devta, sages, human, aquatics, animals. Ajanasya Janma. Krishna, Brahma says he simply appears and there's a manifestation. He comes to in order to chastise falsely proud and to show mercy to sadhus. Krishna says, what conclusions have you reached, O Brahma? Do you think that this form of mine is all pervading? It is impossible for my other forms to be seen anywhere, or all other forms are all pervading. So then he speaks, he answers everything. And after that, um, Krishna says, if it is just that being astonished by seeing all my opulences, but not only by the ones you saw, have you come to the conclusion that there are no others and that my opulence is therefore limited? And Brahma says that has seen the opulences of Krishna's form as cow and cowherd boys disappear. But similar opulences are there in other avatars also. And in this world, it is seen that the jada vastu, ordinary material objects like pots, come into being in the same way. Then do you think that the same process of coming into being applies to my form? That is what Krishna is asking, which are completely, actually, they're different and spiritual in nature. And why the Lord appears as Guna avatars, because, and as a Leela avatars to dispel the atheistic principle and re-establish principles of religion. Then Krishna raises a doubt. Oh, Brahma, you say that my forms are eternal, full of bliss. Then why these forms are also not visible, always not visible? So then Brahmaji explains, Jiva Goswami explains, it's very difficult to understand the Lord forms, including the all pervasive feature, the pastimes he performs through his forms, and manifestation as Yogmaya, and supersedes logic and experience. So Bhagwan is independent and potent, free to engage his energy and his activities. They are all unpredictable, and sometimes his pastime seems to confirm the laws of material nature, as if governed by them. And other time they display the quality beyond the influence of material nature. In both the cases, they are all transcendental. So you spoke about 39th verse, how Brahma says that all divine forms are contained or included in his divine form, and all his opulences are just a fraction of his splendor. And 39th verse, he says that because these Leela avatar forms are Satya, they are full of eternity, awareness, Anand, unlimited, pure bliss. All of them indeed existed simultaneously. So, talking of Leela avatar, but you are unable to see all of them all the time. So, on what basis can you maintain their simultaneous coexistence? So, in that response, Brahma says, "O Great One, Supreme One, Yogeshwar, self of all self, who knows where, how, you, what, expand your yogamaya, and you enact your activities in these three worlds, and to enjoy your activities. Who can understand these yogamaya potencies are inconceivable by nature?" And Brahma uses this word Jiva Goswami says from Kena Upanishad, one who claims I do not know Brahman is truly knows, and one who claims I know Supreme Brahman, he does not know. And Brahmaji says four words to describe Lord Krishna, Bhuman, Bhagwan, Paramatma, and Yogeshwar. That this is Sambodhan Vibhakti. Bhuman is abundance, great earth. It means aggregate of all existent beings. And then, if Krishna's form are all pervasive, then what? Where does the Ram and Narasimha form exist? Then Lord says that his form is ajanma, birthless, which means that all the forms of the Lord are eternal. Moreover, if these forms are eternal, then how is it that they are seen to take birth? Why does Lord accept the forms like fish and boar? Brahma says all the forms are eternal, are under internal potency yogmaya, and nobody can understand where you will extend your yogmaya potency and when you will extend your yogmaya potency. 10.14.21 was spoken. Okay. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Mataji. Very succinct way you summarize the three anuchedas we discussed last time, 37, 38, and 39. This 40th anucheda.
Okay, one more point that Brahma says that you are Prabhu, you have inconceivable power. You accomplish what is ordinary impossible. You can take birth although you are unborn. According to the necessities, Lord appears in different species and gives atheism to propagate. So how can Bhagwan take birth, who is birthless? And that's why Brahma says you are Prabhu. So this Prabhu means inconceivable power.
Thank you. We'll continue the 40th anucheda. 40th anucheda is little long. Let us see how we discuss. This 40th anucheda is in this Jiva Goswami is explaining more elaborately the verse which was quoted in the previous anucheda. So you can see the previous anucheda, this verse was quoted. Kovetti Bhuman Bhagavan Paratman Yogeshwarotir Bhavat Kovetti Bhuman Bhagavan Paratman Yogeshwarotir Bhavatastrilokyam Tvava Katam Va Kativa Kadeti Vistarayan Kridasi Yogamaya. O greatest one, O supreme person, O self of all selves, O master of all yogic power, who knows where or how or to what extent or when you expand your Yogamaya potency and enact your activities within these three worlds. This was the verse quoted in the previous Anucheda. Now, Jiva Goswami is going to explain the shloka in even more detail. So, in this shloka, there are four Sambodhana Vibhakti words which Brahma has used to address Krishna. And there are four questions also he has asked. Kva va, katam va, kati va, and kada. Kva, katam, kati, and kada. Kva means that where do you expand your Yogamaya potency? Where do you expand your Yogamaya potency and enact your pastimes? So where do you expand? That is the question. Katam. How do you expand your Yogamaya potency and perform your pastimes? Third, Kati. To what extent do you expand your Yogamaya potency and perform your pastimes? Kada. When do you appear? When do you perform your pastimes? So these four words correspond to the four Sambodhana Vibhakti. These four questions correspond to the four Sambodhana Vibhakti. Bhuman, Bhagavan, Paratman, and Yogeshwara. So this is going to be explained in more detail in this Anucheda. So I will go through some points in the commentary and also the We'll go through the original Sanskrit, and I will share the soft copy, the folder, which you can refer to revise. So Brahmaji says essentially in the shloka, Koveti Bhuman Bhagavan Paratman. What he's essentially saying that no one can understand Bhagavan's mind. So in this verse, Brahma has posed four rhetorical questions. And the answer to each of these questions, Vava, Katamva, Kativa, Kada, answer to each of these questions is that the answer is same. What is the answer? No one can know the Lord. So Jiva Goswami is commenting that the four reasons why nobody can know Bhagavan, the four reasons are concealed in the four words which Brahma has used to address the Lord. Bhuman, Paratman, Bhagavan, Bhuman, Bhagavan, Paratman and Yogeshwar. Four questions, but the answer is same. Nobody can know the Lord. The reason for why nobody can know the Lord, the four reasons, they are concealed in these four Sambodhana Vibhakti words. So if we see the first word, Bhuman, Bhuman means all pervading, or one who contains unlimited forms within himself. We will also see other meanings of the word Bhuman, but this is the main meaning of the word Bhuman. Bhagavan means the Lord who is replete with achintya shaktis. Paratman means one who has unlimited qualities and performs unlimited activities. And the fourth word, Yogeshwara, means the Lord who is the master of his internal power, the master of one who is the master of Yogamaya Shakti, and one who is not limited by the time factor. These are the four meanings of the word Bhuman, Bhagavan, Paratman, and Yogeshwara. So the first question, that is Kva, where does the Lord appear? The Lord appears by his Yogamaya potency. Where does the Lord extend his Yogamaya potency and appear and perform pastimes? So the first, this Kva is related to the reason. Where will the Lord appear? Nobody can know. What is the reason? The reason is inherent in the word Bhuman. 1 minute. And so the first question is related to the word woman. The second question, katam, how the Lord will perform his leela. Like for example, Krishna leaves the Govardhan hill with his little finger. To lift a hill, normally to lift anything, one has to go below that and then uproot that like a mushroom. Even suppose if a person can accomplish it, how can anybody actually lift a hill on the little finger of the left hand? So these are something nobody can in this world can actually imagine to do that. Nobody can conceive it. So even the any civil engineer in this world cannot conceive it how to do it actually. So, but what? So therefore, the Supreme Lord did this, and at the same time, the mountain did not collapse. So, how the Lord performs his Leela? How the Lord actually performs his Leela, and how the Lord appears in this world? Nobody can understand. So, this Katham, this question is related to the second word Bhagavan, because he has all the opulences, especially because he has Achintya Shakti. So therefore, how the Lord performs his pastime is inconceivable because he has Achintya Shakti, by inconceivable. And the third question, Kati, this is related to the to what extent uh, to what extent does he employ Achintya Shakti? Or we can say Kati means how many actions can the Lord perform? How many actions the Lord can perform? Uh, so, so nobody can understand. Because the reason is that because he is Paratman, because he has unlimited qualities and performs unlimited activities. So how many actions he will perform, nobody can know. So because even Sri Ananta cannot enumerate them with his 1,000 tongues. And Kada, the fourth question, Kada, when will the Lord perform a particular pastime? That also nobody can know because the Lord is not limited by the time factor. This is implied by the word Yogeshwara. So Krishna told Arjuna that when he showed the Vishwarupa, Krishna told Arjuna that he can see whatever you wish within the Vishwarupa. So Arjuna could see that how all the soldiers are going to be killed in the Vishwarupa. But nonetheless, Krishna asked Arjuna to fight. So the Vishwarupa which Arjuna saw was not magical, but a real Vishwarupa. So in that sense, um, so Krishna, because he is unlimited, within the Vishwarupa, Krishna showed whatever that would happen even in the future. Those soldiers will be killed in the future. Krishna showed that in the Vishwarupa because he is not limited by the time factor. So that is the significance of the word Yogeshwara. So therefore, nobody can understand when the Lord will perform the pastimes. So therefore, Brahmaji concludes that it is most difficult to understand how the Lord will act or when Krishna will act. So therefore, anybody who claims that one knows Krishna exactly, such a person is ignorant. Such a person is grossly ignorant. So the point is, anybody who claims that one knows the Lord is actually ignorant. Therefore, the person who really understands that Bhagavan is unlimited, inconceivable, never makes such a claim that he has understood the Lord. So that is why the previous Anucheda, there was a verse from the Kena Upanishad was quoted. And Shankaracharya, in commenting on the Kena Upanishad mantra, he says that a knower of the Absolute says that he actually does not know the Absolute. But one who asserts that one has understood the Absolute, he actually does not know. So when we read this statement, one may think that one should not make an attempt to understand the Lord. But that is not the purpose of this statement. The statement does not mean that one should not try to understand the Lord. Because Prabhupada also says in one purport in Bhagavatam 8th canto, one should try to understand the Lord according to one's intelligence. One should put one effort to understand the Lord. It is impossible to it is impossible to. This does not mean that we should not try to understand the Lord, or that it is impossible to know Him at all. Yeah, one should endeavor to know the Lord, but we must accept that we can never know the Lord completely. There is a one can never know the Lord completely. There is always something to know more and more. Actually, just like a bird flies according to one's capacity, one should try to understand the Lord according to one's capacity. One should try to glorify the Lord according to one's capacity. So, to the extent a person has surrendered to the Lord, to that extent the Lord reveals. But those who are proud, they remain shackled by the Maya potency. So in the Mundaka Upanishad, there is a shloka which says that Avidyayam antare vartamana swayam dhira panditam manyamana janganyamana pariyanti muda andenaiva niyamana yatanda. Foolish people who are actually drowning in ignorance but consider themselves to be intelligent and scholarly, they get battered by the kicks of Maya. They wander in this material world just like blind people being led by the other blind people. So the quite often, it is many foolish people. They think themselves to be actually intelligent, but those who actually know the Lord consider themselves to be insignificant. That is the implication of the shloka. And so Jiva
Prabhuji,
Goswami.
some Bhagavad Gita also similar thing, no? Some 7.15 or something. 7.15, 7 chapter 15, some verses like that. 7 chapter
There
15.
Krishna speaks about four kinds of people who actually who don't surrender to him. Mayaya apakrita jnana. Namam dushkrutino muda prapadyante naradama. Mayaya apakrita jnana asurin bhavam ashritaha. Yeah, we can say Maya apakrita jnana, those whose knowledge has been stolen by the Maya potency. I think there are many people who are intelligent, but their knowledge is actually stolen by the Maya potency. They may be intelligent either in a scientific way or even in the by knowing the many Vedic Shastras, but because of their pride, their intelligence is stolen away by Maya. Such people don't surrender it to the person Krishna. Yeah, that point can be shared. So Jiva Goswami says that the word woman, literally it means that abundant or great. So in the present context, it refers to the Lord who contains unlimited forms within his one form. And therefore, Jiva Goswami begins this Anucheda. You see the 40th Anucheda. Tataiva akrurena stutam. Bahumurt Ekamurtikam iti. So this Bahumurt Ekamurtikam, that means one who has many forms contained within the single form. Bahumurti Ekamurtikam. This is the prayer offered by Akrura. So Akrura was ordered by Kamsa to bring Krishna and Balram to Mathura. Kamsa wanted to kill Krishna and Balram in the wrestling match. So Akrura, when he was bringing Krishna and Balram, Akrura stopped at Yamuna and then to perform his afternoon Madhyana Karya, Madhyanikam, the noontime duties. So he dipped into the Yamuna water and then he chanted the Gayatri mantra. And he was surprised to see that Krishna and Balram within the Yamuna water. And he was wondering how can it be possible? How I am able to see Krishna and Balram within the Yamuna water. So then, out of curiosity, he came out of the Yamuna water, and then he saw that Krishna and Balram were there in the chariot, still sitting on the chariot. So then he concluded that what he had seen in the water must have been an illusion. So then again he entered within the waters of Yamuna, and this time he saw that even more an amazing sight. What was an amazing sight? Krishna was relaxing on the body of the Anantasesha, the thousand-hooded Anantasesha. And Krishna was being glorified by the divine beings like the Siddhas, Charanas, Gandharvas, and even the Asuras. And Krishna was surrounded with associates like Nanda and Sunanda. And seeing this, Akrura's heart became overwhelmed, and then he went into ecstasy. He shed it. Tears started pouring from his eyes, and then he offered beautiful prayers. And from that prayer, Jiva Goswami is quoting the shloka, Bahumurt Ekamurtikam. The Krishna is having one form containing a multiplicity of forms. So although the Lord has various forms, such as Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, etc., but he is but one. So there are other references which support this. Gopal Tapani Upanishad says that Eko Vashi Sarvaga Krishna Idya Ekopi San Bahuda Yo Babati. Krishna is all pervading, supreme controller, and the supreme object of worship. Although he is one, he appears as many. So Akrura also mentions how the Lord manifests various forms when he appears as the avatars, and he gives a partial list of those forms. And then, so according to the desire of the devotee, Krishna manifests a particular form. Ye tamam prapadyate tam tateva bhajami. And then Jiva Goswami quotes a Shruti Vakya, Ekam santam bahuda drishyamanam iti. So what is the meaning? Although he is one, but he is seen as many. Tato yata yadrisham yesham upasana palodaya bhumika avasthanam tada tataiva te pashyanti tatacha pragyantara pratakvavat drishtischa taduktam. Brahma Sutra 3.3.50 इत्यत्र ब्रह्मसूत्रे मध्वभाष्यम उपासना भेदा दर्शन भेदः इति. So the devotee sees the Lord according to his mood of disposition of devotion, which is developed through the maturity of one's worship. And Vedanta Sutra also confirms this, because the worshippers of the Lord have differences in knowledge. Their perception of the Lord also varies accordingly. And on this particular Vedanta Sutra, Madhvacharya writes a commentary, Upasana Beda, Darshana Beda Hiti. There is a difference in how the Lord is perceived due to difference in worship. So, because the worshippers have differences in knowledge, their perception of the Lord differs accordingly. So, Baladev Vidya Bhushan gives in the Govinda Bhashya commentary on the Vedanta Sutra, this 3.3.50, Baladev Vidya Bhushan gives the following commentary. Baladev Vidya Bhushan says that prior to this particular Vedanta Sutra, a particular question was asked. What was the question? Do all the worshippers realize the Brahman in the same way, or do they experience it differently? So some people argue that the various grades of liberated devotees all realize the Brahman in the same way. Although they may have followed different sadhanas, but their perception of Brahman will be uniform. Just like different travelers entering a particular city from different roads, although they approach from different roads, but their perception of the city will be uniform. So similarly, different people may approach the Brahman by different sadhanas, but their perception of Brahman will be same. Like that, some people argue, and the Shrutis, they actually confirm this viewpoint, because Mundaka Upanishad says that upon gaining liberation, all the living beings attain similarity. Mundaka Upanishad, there is a shloka. यदा पश्यते रुक्मवर्णं कर्तारम् ईशं पुरुषं ब्रह्मयोनिं तदा विद्वान् पुण्यपापे विदूय निरंजन paramam samyamupaiti. When a wise person beholds that golden colored original person, the supreme actor and controller, the supreme actor and the controller, who is the source of Brahman, Brahma Yonim, he is enabled to shake off piety and sin. And he then becomes free from material bondage and attains supreme similarity, Paramam Samyam Upaiti. So, Paramam Samyam Upaiti, this verses can be quoted from the Mundaka Upanishad, which says that upon liberation, all of them perceive the Brahman in a similar way. The realization will be same. So, like that, somebody may give the argument. So, the conclusion of the Purva Paksha is that the liberated state involves absolute uniformity in terms of how the absolute truth is realized. So, this is the Purva Paksha argument. But in response to this, Vyasadeva is writing the Vedanta Sutra, that is 3.3.50, Pragyantara Prutakvad Drishtischa Taduktam. That Vyasadeva says that because the worshippers have differences in pragya, knowledge, therefore drishtischa taduktam, therefore the realizations will also vary. So this states that the different devotees have different realizations according to their bhava and according to the corresponding practices they undertake. And this is supported by the Shruti from the Chandogya Upanishad. Chandogya Upanishad says that Atak Khalu Kratumaya Purusha Yata Kratur Asmim Loke Purusho Bhavati Tateta Pretya Bhavati Sa Kratum Kurvita. Because human creatures are creatures of faith, after death, they each obtain a result according to their faith and sentiments. So let them have full faith in the Lord. So we see that every person, based on the type of faith, a person obtains a result based on the type of the faith. So this Shruti Vakya confirms this Vedanta Sutra, because Vedanta Sutra is basically what? Vedanta Sutra is the essence of all the Upanishads. Upanishads are the end of the Vedas. Upanishads are called by the word Vedanta. And Vedanta Sutra is the essence of the Upanishads. Therefore, when the Vedanta Sutra is there, every Vedanta Sutra can be mapped to a particular Upanishad Vakya. And because Srimad Bhagavatam is a natural commentary on Vedanta Sutra, Srimad Bhagavatam words can also be mapped to the corresponding Vedanta Sutra Vakya, and which can be mapped to the corresponding Shruti Vakya. So you can see there will be mapping between the Vedanta Shruti Vakya with the Vedanta Sutra, and the Vedanta Sutra can be mapped with the particular Srimad Bhagavatam verse. So in that way, we can see that there is no contradiction between the different Shastras. So this is this is popularly called Tatkratu Nyaya. Tatkratu Nyaya means basically based on the type of faith, a person attains a different result. The similarity referred, so in the Mundaka Upanishad verse which I quoted just before, that talks about the similarity. How in the liberated state everyone attains Paramam Samyam. So that verse appears to say that in the liberated state, what everyone perceives about the absolute truth is same. That is what the Mundaka Upanishad verse says. But the Chandogya Upanishad verse says that based on the type of faith, every person attains different results. The similarity, so how do we reconcile this? The similarity referred in the Mundaka Upanishad verse is that all see the same Lord, but yet their vision differs according to their bhava or inner disposition. And this is what Baladev Vidyabhushan writes in the Govinda Bhashya. Yeah, all of them see the same Lord. In that sense, there is similarity, but their vision differs according to disposition. So, for example, so there are different travelers entering the same city from different paths. So they see the city from different angles of vision. So one person may enter from one particular road and then he may enter the market portion of the city. Another person may enter that city where high-rise buildings are there. Another person may enter the city from another portion where he sees the slum portion of the city. Another portion enters from another part where he sees the gardens of the city. So in that sense, although all of them enter the same city, but they do not have the exact same picture of the city. Similarly, different devotees see the same Lord, but the realizations differ. So there are 4 examples which are given. The first, the 4 examples, we'll see the next paragraph. Deva Goswami gives some example. Drishtantascha yataikameva pattavastra vishesha picha avayava visheshadi dravyam nana varnamaya pradanaika varnamapi kutarchit sthana visheshat datta chakshusho janasya kenapi varna visheshena pratibhati iti atra akanda pattavastra visheshadi sthaniyam nija pradana basantar bhavita tattad rupantaram Sri Krishna Rupam tattad varna chavistaniyani rupantarani iti nyayam. So what is the meaning? The meaning is that Jiva Goswami gives some examples. So there is a multicolored cloth or a peacock feather. So in the multicolored cloth or in a peacock feather, although one color predominates, but it appears to be of a different color depending on the particular angle from which you are seeing that cloth or the peacock feather. So similarly, Krishna, who contains many other forms in his prime effulgence, who contains many other forms in his prime effulgence, which are likened to the multiple colors in the same cloth. Multiple colors in the cloth. So that Krishna is compared to the complete cloth, and the multiple colors are present in the cloth are compared to the multiple forms which Krishna manifests. So from the different angles of vision, you see different colors. So similarly, based on the different moods of worship, one perceives different forms of Krishna. So Narada Pancharatra states that Maniryata Vibhagena Neela Pitadibir Yutaha Rupa Vedam Avapnoti Jnana Veda Tata Vibhu. Just as a gem endowed with many colors such as blue and yellow, appears differently from different angles. Similarly, the Lord appears in different forms according to the meditation of the devotee. So there are 4 examples given. One example is the multicolored cloth. Appears to be of a particular color from different angles, when seen from different angles. Second example is that of a gems. A gem may appear to have different color when seen from different angles. And the third example is that a cat's eye. Cat's eye appears to have different colors when seen from various angles. And this quality is known to the gemologists. This quality is called as chatoyancy. Chatoyancy, how the cat eye appears to have different colors seen from different angles. The same quality is present in the gem. And the fourth example, a modern example, is a halogram, or I think a kaleidoscope or something. I think maybe it's also called as kaleidoscope. So in childhood, you might have seen that different glass pieces are put. When you see the same kaleidoscope 1 second later or after shaking it, every time you perceive different designs in the kaleidoscope. So similarly, same examples are given here. So Manir Atra Vaiduryam Nila Pitadayas Tadgunaha Tadevam Kva Ityasya Yuktirukta. So the gem referred to here is the cat's eye. So the color such as blue and yellow represent its characteristics. So in this way, the reasoning behind the interrogative particle Kva has been explained. Where does the Lord manifest his form? Where does the Lord manifest his form? Nobody can understand. Why? Because Lord is woman, he is all pervading. Because he is all pervading. Or because he is all pervading, or one who contains unlimited forms within himself. So therefore, because he is all pervading, where he will manifest his pastime, nobody can understand. Or one who contains unlimited forms within his one form. So where he will manifest his form, nobody can understand. So then next, then Shukdev Goswami, in order to explain this, the Jiva Goswami, in order to explain this further, he quotes another verse spoken by Shukdev Goswami from the Vamanadev pastime in the Srimad Bhagavatam 8th canto. So, Evameva Shri Vamana Avataram Upalakshya Shri Shuka Vakyam. So, what is that Vakya? 8.18.12. Yattat Vapur Bhati Vibhushanayudair Avyaktachid Vyaktam Adarayat Harihi. Yattat Vapur Bhati Vibhushanayudair Avyaktachid Vyaktamadharayat Harihi. Bhabhuvatenaiva sabamano vatuhu sampashyator divyagatir yatanataha. So what is the meaning of the shloka? The Lord assumed his unmanifest spiritual form, which became manifest with ornaments and weapons. Then his parents watched as in that very same body, like an actor exhibiting divine movement. He became Vamana, the boy Brahmana, the Brahmachari Vamana. So what is the meaning of the shloka? Arthascha ayam yattad vapuhu shariram na kenapi vyajyate ya chitpurna anandas tat swarupameva yad vibhushana ayudair bhati tad vapus tada prapanche api vyaktam yata syat tata adarayat stapitavan पुनश्च तेनैव वपुषा वामनो वटुर्बभूव हरिः एव कारेण परिणाम वेषांतर योगादिकं निषिद्धम्. So the meaning is as follows. The Lord assumed that form or body which is not manifested by anything else, which is consciousness and bliss personified, and which appeared as decorated with beautiful ornaments, meaning that he manifested it in such a way that it became visible in the material world. Then again, he became the boy Brahmana Vamana. That means initially he appeared in a four-handed Vishnu form, and then after that he manifested the form of the Vamana form in the very same body. In the very same, initially he appeared as the four-handed Vishnu form with the different ornaments and with the different weapons. And then in the very same body he manifested the form of Vamana. So that is why in the words the word Eva is used. The word Eva is used. That means it is not that the Lord changed his form. It is not that the Lord changed his form and appeared as Vamana. In the very same form, he initially manifested the four-handed Vishnu form. In the very same form, he manifested the form of Vamana. So we see here, so in order to further explain how many forms, unlimited forms exist in one form. Ekamurtir, Bahumurtir, Ekamurtikam. In order to explain how various forms exist in one form of Bhagavan, Jiva Goswami recalls this Vamana Dev's appearance. So you know that Aditi, she performed Payovrata ceremony for 12 days in order to please Vishnu. So at the end of the Payovrata ceremony, Lord Vishnu appeared and he agreed to bless her by becoming her son. And then in due course of time, the Lord appeared in his four-handed form. And then in front of Aditi and Kashyapa, he transformed himself into Vamanadeva, the dwarf brahmachari. So here, in this particular verse, the Lord is compared to an expert actor. You see the word Sampashyatur Divyagatir Yata Nataha. Divyagatir Yata Nataha. He is compared to an expert actor. So an actor actually puts on various costumes to play a particular role. By putting on various costumes and ornaments and dresses, he actually conceals his real identity and imitates a particular role. So, as an actor is only one person, but he plays various roles. He plays various roles and he appears differently. So, similarly, Bhagavan is one person, but within that, but he manifests various forms. He appears in various forms. But in the case of the actor, so Bhagavan is compared to an actor. So in the case of the actor has limitations. He can change one. He can only change his costume, but he cannot change his body actually. But the Lord actually has different forms, but yet at the same time he is one person. The actor may take up different costumes, but he cannot change his body. But the Lord has actually takes up different forms, although he is one person. So, yeah, we'll go further ahead. Kada. So, Kada Pitroho Sampashyatoho. So, when did the Lord appear? While his parents watched. Pitroho Sampashyatoho. And Tenaiva Vapusha. Tenaiva Vapusha, that means in the very same body. That means initially he appeared as a 400 Vishnu form. In the very same body, he appeared as the Vamana. So tad bhave hetu. What is the reason for it? That how in the same body he appeared as the Vamana? The reason is mentioned by the word Divyaha. Divya Gatir Yata Nataka. Divyaha means what? Parama Achintyaha. That means he has he is supremely inconceivable. And Jiva Goswami quotes a Shruti Vakya, Yadgatam Bhavachya Bhavishyat Cha Ityadi Shrutehe. What is the meaning of the Shruti Vakya? This is from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. All forms of the present and the future are eternally present in his form. Yadgatam Bhavatcha Bhavishyatcha. Bhavatcha means all the present forms and the future forms all are present in his form. Swasmin eva nityasthitanam nana samsthananam prakashana rupa gatayas cheshta yasya saha. So that means he can manifest or unmanifest any one of the forms that eternally exist in him. He can manifest and unmanifest any of the form, all the unlimited forms which are eternally present in him. So in this particular verse quoted, 8th canto verse, so the Lord is compared to an actor. But this analogy of the actor, it is a partial analogy. So that is explained in the next paragraph. Tatra alakshita swadharma matra ullasamshe drishtanta leshaha yata nata iti. So the partial analogy, like an actor, is meant to illustrate just a single aspect of the Lord's nature, namely that he manifests his concealed qualities. So, nato api kachid आश्चर्यतमा दिव्या परम विस्मापिका गतिर हस्तकर रूपा चेष्टा यस्य तथा भूतः सन् तेनैव रूपेण वैषम्यादिक मणुरीकृत्यापि नानाकारतां यथा दर्शयति. So just as an actor demonstrates divine, wonderful or astonishing movements of the hands and the legs, actor actually performs different gestures, performs different dance. In the same way, the Lord in the very same form, without any change, just like the actor manifests different gestures with his hands and arms, in the very same form, without any change. Similarly, the Lord also manifests various forms in the same body. This is how the analogy is mentioned. Just like the actor manifests various movements with his hands and legs in the very same body, the Lord manifests various forms in the same body. And Swargyo Natova Divya Gatihi Tatascha Tattad Anukaranam Tasya Atyanta Tadakarameva Bhavati Atra Parameshwaram Vina Anyasya Sarvamshe Tadrishatva Abhavat. So another possible meaning for the word Divya Gatir Yata Nataka. Krishna is mentioned that Lord appeared as a 400 Vishnu form and then he took the Vamanadev form like an Divya Gatir Yata Nataka. So Divya Gatir Yata Nataka like an actor. But another meaning of another interpretation of the same words is that like an heavenly actor. Because Divya means heavenly. Divya Gatir Yata Nataka means like a heavenly actor. So therefore, the Lord's portrayal of a particular form means complete acceptance of that particular form. So nobody other than Bhagavan can be total in all respects when taking on a role. So whenever the Lord actually takes up a particular role, he ensures that all the details of that particular role are also followed. When he takes up the role of a Vaishya or as a Kshatriya or as a Brahmana or as a Sannyasi, or or when he takes up the role of a Gor or a Matsya, whichever role he takes up, he ensures that all the details of the role are also followed. All the details of the behavior, all the details of the Varnashram Dharma related to the particular role, all are actually followed by the Lord. So this explains the so, and then further, maybe I'll go to the next paragraph and then we'll end for today. So, nacha drishtante, so atra parameshwaram vina anyasya sarvamshe tadrishatva abhavat. Except for the Supreme Lord, other people cannot perfectly imitate a role. Many times, when a person, in the drama festival, when a devotee is performing, a drama starts, immediately people start, oh, Amara, this Prabhu is playing this role. Immediately people are able to recognize the person who is actually playing that role. But the Lord so perfectly performs the role which he takes that people have misunderstanding even after thousands of years. And then Jiva Goswami says that nacha drishtante kandatva doshaha prasanjaniyaha yata bhakshita kita parinama bhakshita kita parinama lala jata tantu sadano api urna nabah parameshwarasya jagat srishta vananya sadakatve drishtantah yatorna nabir hridaya ityadi tatvat. So one should not disregard this example due to its being only partially applicable. It should be regarded in the same way as the example of the spider from the 11th canto. So you see here in this 8th canto verse, the Lord is compared to an actor. But this analogy has only partial applicability. This has only partial applicability. So, so sometimes one may say that when the analogy is only innate, when the analogy is partial applicability, one should not say the analogy is actually, there is a mistake in the analogy, there is a defect in the example. Because the purpose of the analogy is to better grasp a particular concept. So, but every analogy will have certain similarity and every analogy will have certain dissimilarity. The analogy is basically a tool in order to understand a particular concept better. So this, when the Lord is compared to an actor, it has certain similarities and it also has certain dissimilarities. So according to Nyaya Sutra says what is the purpose of an analogy. Yatra laukika parikshakanam yasmin arte buddhi samya sa drishtantaha. So an example or an analogy is that about which a common man and a highly intelligent man can have the same understanding. And highly intelligent man can understand a particular concept easily. But in order for a common man to understand that same concept, a common man is explained with the help of an analogy. So analogy means what? Analogy is a tool by which a common man can get the understanding of a highly intelligent person. Laukika parikshakanam yasmin arte buddhi samya sa drishtantaha. So here, so we saw the similarities in the analogy of Lord being compared to an actor. What are the similarity? The similarity is that just like an actor conceals his identity with the help of the ornaments and the different gestures. Similarly, the Lord conceals his identity. Similarly, Lord actually assumes various roles and performs different pastimes. And just like the actor performs various hand gestures, various bodily gestures without changing the body. Similarly, the Lord assumes various forms without Lord assumes various forms um, without actually changing his form. Assumes various forms without changing his form. So Jiva Goswami cites another example. For example, he says that many times Bhagavan is compared to a spider. Why this comparison is given? In order to show that the Bhagavan is both the efficient cause and the ingredient cause of the universe. Just like the spider.
Prabhuji, your voice is not audible.
Hare Krishna. Same network is there. Is it true for others? Are others able to hear?
No, the voice is not audible.
It is not coherent.
Acha, from
Not able
beginning
to understand.
from the beginning or is it?
No, just now. The
Just
last
now.
1 minute.
Okay. So oftentimes the Bhagavan is compared to a spider in the for example, there is a verse in the Bhagavatam, 11th canto, which is the verse. Yeah, there is a verse. 11th canto verse. Yatornanabir hridayadurnam santatya vakrata taya vikritya bhuyas tam grasatyeva makeshwaraha. Just as a spider produces a web from within its own body, then projects it out of its own mouth and sports with it before swallowing it up again, so it is with the Supreme Lord. So this Lord is compared to a spider. So in this analogy, there is a similarity and also dissimilarity. The spider, it weaves the web, and thus the spider is the efficient cause of the web. And the spider is also the material cause of the web, because the spider uses its own saliva to manufacture the web. And spider does not use the external ingredients. In that sense, spider only makes the web, and spider does not use external ingredients. So similarly, the Lord is only creating this world, and the ingredients are also coming from the Lord. In this way, the Lord is compared to a spider. But this is a similarity. But the dissimilarity is that the spider needs to eat insects in order to survive. And spider needs to eat the insects in order to produce saliva, which it can use, which the spider can use to make the web later. Whereas the Lord does not need to eat, does not require anything external, because the insects are something external to the spider. But the Lord does not need anything external, either to produce something or to ensure his survival. Either to survive or to produce something, it does not need anything external. The spider builds a web to trap the insects for its own sustenance. But the Lord has no such purpose. So I need to sustain myself, therefore I have to produce this world. The Lord has no such purpose in creating the cosmos. So therefore, when we say the Lord is compared to a spider, this example has similarities, and the same example also has dissimilarities. But overall, the analogy serves the purpose. In the same way, in this 8th canto verse, the Lord is compared to an actor. So this analogy has a similarity and also has a dissimilarity. So this analogy is used to explain how the multiple forms of Bhagavan are contained within the Krishna's singular all encompassing form. Just like the actor plays multiple actions, actor takes multiple roles by concealing himself with multiple costumes and multiple ornaments. Similarly, the Lord performs, the Lord has multiple forms within his one singular form. So that is the analogy. But the similarity is that in the case of the actor has only one body, but he changes the ornaments according to the role. But the Lord changes his. So, but the Lord even changes his form, although he has one form only. So, in this way, this analogy, Jiva Goswami says that the Lord is compared to an actor. It has a similarity and a dissimilarity. And for that, he gives an example of this. Another example, how the Lord is compared to a spider. And that analogy also has a similarity and it also has a dissimilarity. And further we will, and then further Jiva Goswami, the next paragraph, he quotes Brahmaji's prayer to show that how the Lord manifests various forms according to the mood of the devotion of the devotee. He quotes from 3rd canto 9th chapter, which we'll see in the next class. So today what we discussed in summary, so we are discussing the same verse from the previous anuccheda, Kovetti Bhuman Bhagavan Paratman Yogeshwaratir Bhavati Trilokyam Kvava Katam Va Kativa Kadeti Vistarayan Kridasi Yogamaya. So according to the shloka, Brahmaji says that where will the Lord manifest his pastings, or how the Lord will manifest his pastings, or to what extent will he exercise his Yogamaya Achintya Shakti, or when will the Lord manifest his pastings? Nobody can, who can actually understand. He's asking these 4 questions, but the answer to the 4 questions are concealed within the 4 words which Brahma uses to address the Lord. Bhuman, Bhagavan, Paratman and Yogeshwara. And then we discussed that how in the shloka, Jiva Goswami first quotes the words from the Akrura's prayer, how many forms are present in a single form. And in this regard, we also quoted other shlokas from Vedanta Sutra in the Upanishads. We saw some examples. And then Shukdev Goswami quotes this verse from the Vamanadeva's appearance, how the Lord appeared in the Vishnu 400 Vishnu form, and then without changing the form, he appeared as the Vamanadeva. And in this way, he acted as a heavenly actor. So in that regard, we discussed that this analogy of this Lord being compared to an actor, how this analogy has a similarity and dissimilarity, and what is the purpose of the analogy, and how we also took another example, how the Lord is compared to a spider, how that analogy also has a similarity and dissimilarity. So further part of the Anuccheda will take it up next week. Hare Krishna. Are you able to hear properly?
Yes, Prabhuji. So when you yourself mentioned about this Divyam, that actor is Divyam actor. So Divyam yourself mentioned that the meaning of Divyam is heavenly, right?
One meaning, another meaning is that like a heavenly actor.
Like a heavenly, yes. So Divyam means transcendental also, right? Divyam.
Divya also can mean transcendental.
Yeah. Okay. And when you mentioned about the details, that verse we discussed earlier, that how Brahmaji also, when he stole, when Krishna stole the calves and calves and coward boys, then the detailed word which you use right now, that same thing, that clothes which they were wearing, that also the details were similar. Not similar. It was just the same, right? That.
Yes. Yeah, he even exactly expanded even as the ornaments, exact design of the dresses, same thing. He actually appeared as not only in the covered boys, but also in the same exact dress. Correct. So in that way, he is actually a perfect actor or a heavenly actor. That's why we say Natavara Vapu. For Natavara Vapu, that word comes as the best of the dancers. Nata also means a dancer. Or here Nata here means an actor. Is Natavara Vapu, we can say the best of the actors, best of the dancers.
Yeah, even Kunti Maharani says, no, Nato Natya Dharo Yatha.
Lakshyam Sarvabhutanam. Maya Jaunika Chan Gya Dokshajam Avyayam Nalakshase Mudadrisha Nato Natya Dharo Yatha. Yeah, this analogy of Lord being compared to an actor comes in various places. Kunti's prayer, Gajendra's prayer, also in other prayers it comes. Some analogies come repeatedly. The spider analogy comes 3rd canto, 11th canto. Right. Anybody else has any questions?
So this spider analogy, is that Avdut Brahmana? Does it come in that? He
This
is one of the
spider
teachers.
analogy.
One of the teachers, he learns lessons.
Spider, I'm not remembering exactly whether it comes there. Here, the spider analogy, the verse number is not mentioned. It is mentioned in the Yatornanabir 11.9.21. Yeah, Avadut Brahmana section. 11.9.21 in the Avadut Brahmana section. One of the 24. Here, spider is not the guru in that way. 11.9.21, which context it comes here, you see. But in the same section. Or by seeing the spider, he is actually learning how the Lord is the efficient cause and as the ingredient cause. Hare Krishna. Any other point which is difficult to understand? We will stop here. Tantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.